And now I'm going to introduce Matt Amdahl, and this is an introduction written by his friend Kristen Katner. Today is Good Friday. Jesus died for our sins, and Matt Amdahl for God. Matt's stories are about redemption. They're also about finding trouble. His short stories have a controlled humor his characters thank him for, but ante into the absurd. Look at Matt, digesting a ham sandwich 3 days before the Ascension. His current character, the old bag Gertrude, draws out her family's craven sides, the desires they tried to stuff down. Matt Amdahl prefers his side in people too. He is also the nicest guy you'll ever meet. Look at Matt, Jesus' favorite. His characters are totems, flower-covered spikes, and they are driven by the id. They fall down along the way. The beauty of Matt's writing is that they sometimes learn from this fall, and they sometimes don't. His readers are asked to make choices too, and that's when things get tricky. Matt knows this. He presents a problem, smiles, and walks away, returning only when your own superego has slammed the door on your foot. You reach down to rub it and fall into the mess. Look at Matt, thinking about chocolate bunnies and about paradox. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Amdahl.
Thank you, everyone. And happy Earth Day, too. Earth Day is one of my favorite days. It's a time to celebrate all of the Earth's creatures, and two of my favorite creatures on the Earth are fairies and unicorns. And tonight I present stories about fairies and unicorns. The fairy Queen Meb sat upon a toadstool in the middle of a forest. Her flowing gown of silk tore again while flying through the underbrush, and she carefully mended the fabric with her fingers. Her gossamer wings were a little worse for the wear, too, having inverted in the wind. As she busied her hands, yet another hero knelt at her feet in supplication, wishing to receive her boons. Meb's assistant, a changeling named Wubin Guggenach, currently in the form of a newt, answered for Meb to the hero. "Can't you see the fairy queen is busy?" Guggenach asked. "I demand her boon, else my village will come to a ruinous and climactic ending," the hero said. Meb sighed and rolled her eyes. "This is the way of nature of which I am representative. If villages never faced hardship, then what would be the point of life?" Meb asked. The hero puzzled over this. "But our village wise person and the village idiot confirmed that I must seek out the fairy queen and receive her boon. What will I do now? I mean, what will my village do now?" the hero asked. "You just want the honor and the glory of saving your village, don't you? You. All you care about is you," Guggenach said. Meb giggled and worked on the dents in her gossamer wings. "But I even have the mythical spear of Lugdunum, wieldable only by the bravest and purest of soul. Does that count for nothing?" the hero asked. Meb flittered off the toadstool and sprinkled fairy dust over the hero. The hero coughed and fell over, dead as a doornail. "Next!" Guggenach yelled. Another hero stepped over from the waiting line of heroes. "Help!" the hero said. "What is it you want? We are busy ruling the elements and nature to keep all in harmony and balance. Whatever is so important that you hold so dear above all else to seek out Meb, Queen of the Fairies?" Guggenach asked. "The village well is dried up and people will die of thirst soon. Hurry," the hero said. "Why don't you pick up the mythical spear of Lugdunum like the heroes who came before you and convince us of your power?" Meb asked. "I'm a weakling and a coward, but my village, you must help them," the hero said. "How far is a river or a lake or a stream or even a woodland brook from your village?" Meb asked. The hero looked befuddled, then embarrassed. Not far, thank you, Meb, Queen of the Fairies, whose wisdom knows no bounds and generosity no limit," the hero said. The hero stumbled down the forest path and out of sight. Next, Wugan yelled. Another hero stepped forward and picked up the mythical spear of Lugdunum, and a surge of power came over him, and in a fit of violent rage he thrust the spear at Meb, Queen of the Fairies. She effortlessly dodged out of the way and sprinkled fairy dust over the hero. The hero turned into a dung beetle and skittered away. Meb sighed. At this rate, who amongst the mortals shall ever be worthy of my boons? Meb asked. The heroes remaining began fighting one another to the death over who was next in line. Meb sat herself back on the toadstool and sobbed into her hands. The heroes all killed one another, the last two heroes standing, delivering a death blow the same moment. Well, as usual, it's just us again, Meb said. Wugan changed from a newt to a male fairy. He hugged Meb lovingly. She stopped sobbing long enough to smile. The truth is these heroes keep seeking me out because I don't have the courage to change careers. How did I get involved in this boon granting to begin with? It's been so many ages I can't even recall, Meb said. Meb continued sobbing. Wugan picked up the spear of Lugdunum and broke it into 1,000 shards, tossing the fragments into the ether. He smiled at Meb and opened a portal to the fairy realm of Tir Nanog. They entered the portal, which closed behind them and winked out of existence, leaving the forest to its original flora and fauna. A final hero who was snoozing underneath some holly bushes awoke. He looked around and realized that he must have been the chosen one, the one to receive the boon of the Fairy Queen, and he was magically transported to a land of eternal bliss to continue his journey. The hero breathed in deeply, and the air smelled of heavy perfumes of forest foliage. He found a suitable walking stick and proceeded to navigate deeper into the wood. Years later, the hero recalled the tale of his meeting with the Fairy Queen to his village. They all listened with awe and mystery, except one curious teenager who kept asking impertinent questions. How do you know it was really her? How do you know you didn't just dream it? The teenager asked. The whole village glared at the teenager and looked irritated. The teenager soon found himself on a hero's journey deep into the forest to seek out the Fairy Queen before a plague doomed them all. My last little story is a story about unicorns. The Curious Tale of the Lesbian Unicorns. Gertrude and Dolores pranced through a field of clover. The moon's crescent shimmered like a drop of mercury between lazy clouds. Beyond, cold stars winked upon the earth. I'm tired of prancing, Dolores said. Oh yeah, Gertrude and Dolores are 90. Yeah, me too, Gertrude said. Hold me with your horn, Dolores said. The clouds floated over the crescent moon, shrouding the land in darkness. Gertrude whinnied. Dolores sneezed. A misty dew kissed the field of clover. Sounds like horse sex echoed through the valley glade. The moon emerged from the floating bank of clouds. Gertrude's horn glimmered. Dolores munched on the dewy field of clover. Gertrude exhaled, breathless. Dawn cracked the painting of the night sky and blended shades of blue, pink, and orange. The lesbian unicorns blinked out of existence, replaced by the glaring orb of the sun. 2 horses awoke in the field, fenced off in all cardinal directions. Beyond the horizon, stars winked out of existence. Thank you very much, everyone.